Yo, this industry is so confusing. Hard to tell who's really with me or who's trying to use me. If I told you I respect you, I ain't say it loosely. I don't throw those words around, it's just not how I do things. Ay, yeah, I know I can be a nuisance. Ain't afraid to admit it if I think the shoe fits. People ask me where I've been, I've been writing new hits. Had to make my own plans, I don't need your 2 cents. Ay, yeah, I don't wanna hear excuses. I just like to make moves and make improvements. I just like to break rules, maybe start some new trends. Live the life that I choose, cutting off the loose ends.
World number 1, Italo Ferreira, looks at the lineup after over a week since competition was held here at the Billabong Pipe Masters in memory of Andy Irons. All focus on the face of world number 1, trying to realize his destiny on what's in store for the Brazilian throughout today on finals day. Backed by the Billabong camp and off the wall, the Stilken shirts will be proudly waving in this first heat of the morning. Italo Ferreira, jazzed to be competing today. So much energy and so much hype over the last couple of weeks throughout this waiting period, and he's been handling the pressure like a champion. Italo going for a first title. Medina right behind him, fighting for a third, and Kolohe Andino still with an outside shot as we're here in the round of 16. Thanks for being with us. Joe Turpel alongside 89 world champ Martin Potter.
Morning, Joe.
It's been a long wait, but it looks like game day.
It is game day. You know what? It's we have these waiting periods for reasons. Obviously, we've waited 8 days to get what we've got today, but it's definitely the best it's been. So they've nailed it. The guys are super excited. We can't wait to get this thing going, but it's going to be a cracker of a day.
Interesting, knowing that Tuesday was meant to be the finals day. A few days ago, Italo stayed in the lineup for almost 2 hours, anticipating a start to what would have been a massive day. He had to get out of the water, reset, a few days to think about his destiny a little bit further. But as you can tell, the clock's already on for finals day of not just the event, but for the 2019 World Surf League Championship Tour season. Let's now see if we'll get an opening wave here. Italo out in the water with Pedersen Crisanto. And we'll make it official with the call. Big good morning and happy finals day to Rosie Hodge and Marty Thomas.
Good morning, you guys. 6 weeks on the North Shore for the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing. Marty Thomas, let's make it official. Is this finals day? What's the running order?
Yeah, we're on today. After 8 lay days, we had some tough calls last Friday and Tuesday. The waves just didn't quite pan out, but we rolled the dice on today, and the surf's looking really good. 6 to 8 foot, great conditions, offshore. Finals day, we're going to decide the world title, the Pipe Masters champion, Triple Crown champion, and also Olympic qualification. So it's going to be a huge day here for the final day of the Billabong Pipe Masters.
I love it. And with so much on the line, what can we expect from the conditions throughout the day?
Well, it's going to grow gradually. It's going to peak around midday and then taper off slightly in the afternoon. It should be 6 to 8 foot. It's going to be a little bit consistent because it's out of the west, northwest swell, long intervals. So we'll have some downtime and then we'll have some pulses. Full day of competition. We're doing 46-minute heats, maximizing the time allowed, 35-minute quarterfinals and semis, and then a small break and a 35-minute final.
Sounds like a great day to me, guys. Have an epic day. Send it back to you, Joe.
Thank you so much, Rosie. And Marty Thomas, our competition director, former top 10 in the world, making the call for the end of the season. We'll be crowning a Pipe Master, a Vans Triple Crown champion, a world champion, deciding Olympic qualification, a lot going on. So let's get a morning report with big wave champ Peter Mel. Morning, Pete.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Potts. Good morning, everyone. A little lineup review. I'll tell you, one of the factors this morning will be that sun. It is right there in your eyes when you're paddling for waves. Obviously, you can see it very nicely, but looking in, a little bit more challenging. Plus, that pile of sand is still there on the end of the bowl on the left, which will probably play a factor on the bigger set waves, but ultimately kind of enough off the reef that we'll be okay there. Looking at the swell direction around 320, which means that we'll see some backdoor waves. I mean, watching this morning already early, we saw that the backdoor probably had the highest quality of waves, but then definitely more lefts to be had. So we'll see where Italo comes into play here, because I think he's been focusing a lot on these lefts, but I think today, if he really wants to win this title, he's going to have to go right a few times.
Good man, Pete. Thanks for the morning report. So he's anticipating seeing a lot of backdoor gems today. Still some sand that's stuffing some of those sections at Pipeline. But real clean, groomed conditions on that northerly angle. Italo and Pedersen going head-to-head in the first heat of the morning in the overlapping format. The things were pretty exciting, Potts, how we kicked off the free surf, and maybe a Grom from Florida got the wave of his life. Kepa Medea got this thing first thing in the morning, Potts.
Yeah, well, this is one of those little backdoor specials. I mean, have a look at that wave there. Spit out the end, but the best part of this is the look on his face. I mean, have a look at that. That is pure joy right there. And that is what that wave's going to last him a lifetime. He's never, ever going to forget that. Little Jackson Dorian giving him a high five, saying wave of the morning. Absolutely, and that's a little taste of what's to come. So Natural Foot is obviously going to keep an eye on it. I agree with Pete that Italo's going to have to go backdoor on occasions to win these heats. It's a longer tube ride, Joe, so it's going to have to be used.
What a way to start the day.
Wow.
Good job, Kepa. Peter Medea, his dad, one of the craziest forehand carves ever out here surfing with his son and kicking off a beautiful morning for finals day at the Billabong Pipe Masters in memory of Andy Irons. And that Billabong camp supporting Italo Ferreira through an incredible season. Starting off with a big win on the Gold Coast to take the Jeep Leaders jersey, winning the previous stop at Portugal to get his second win of the year. And it was really a climb through the Surf Ranch, France, Portugal, that got him from 6th in the world all the way to world #1 before heading into Pipeline.
Yeah, you know, that European leg, Joe, it's so important, you know, back-to-back events, big events as well, and it seems like a lot of guys struggle. Certain guys absolutely love it. Italo Ferreira, one of those guys that really made a move through that European leg, so set yourself up nicely for this event. You know, you come in with a lot of momentum, and as you said, went from 6th in the world all the way up to #1, so he's done all the hard yards. Now he's just got to put the cherry on the top here at Pipeline.
38 minutes to go here in the first heat of the morning. Overlapping heat will begin at the halfway mark. And we'll see the next heat get out in the lineup with Yago Dora and Julian Wilson. Both sides of the draw filled with former Pipe Masters. Kelly Slater, Gabriel Medina, Julian Wilson, Michel Perez, all looking for another incredible trophy at the end of the day today. We talked about a lot of the line, Olympic qualification, re-qualification for the tour in this heat as well. Rookie of the Year has still yet to be decided. First, Pedersen's just looking to re-qualify. Now that he's gone this far, if he could go on to win this event, he could challenge Seth Moniz for that title. If Seth makes his heat later on this round against Kelly, he'll make it official himself. But I love that we still have that yet to be decided today, Potts.
Yeah, there's a lot on the line, Joe. A lot of pressure coming from all different angles in all shapes and sizes, but that's why we love it. You know, that's why this event, there's so much riding on it, you know, and then to throw in the Olympic qualification is just, you know, just to make it that little bit more intense. But I don't think they're really going to be thinking about that while they're in the water. I think they're basically focusing on the lineup, trying to get those waves, trying to stay in the moment and not try and get carried away with the possibilities and all that other stuff.
Still some movement in the lineup, waiting for the opening ride to be scored on finals day here at Pipeline. Yago Dora, Julian Wilson up next. Ricardo Christie and Jack Freestone will battle in heat #3, followed by Seth Moniz and Kelly Slater. Gabriel Medina will take on Caio Ibelli in another rematch, followed by John Florence and Solomon Bailey. Jesse Mendez will take on Griffin Colapinto, and Michel Perez will have Kolohe Andino, who still has that outside shot for a world title today on finals day. A lot at stake, so we're going to be checking in with Renato Hickel. Happy finals day.
Happy finals day, Joe. How are you? Are you nervous? I am.
We're feeling it.
And Pedersen out there, man. Yeah, this is the first massive hit of today's round of 16. Italo in the water must win to keep that edge over Medina. Obviously, he can win the title even if he loses and Medina and Kolohe lose today. But he can't have that chance or give that chance, so he must win to advance. And we have a really interesting scenario, not taken from Kolohe because he has a massive test today. He hopes that Italo and Gabriel lose this round and he must win the event. But it will be an awesome final today for us if Italo advances to the final through this side of the draw and Medina through the other side of the draw, and they meet in the final. That will be the epic final, you know, have the two surfers in the water to fight for the title. But at this stage, he must win this heat to keep his hopes alive, and Peterson Crisanto has a long shot to the Rookie of the Year. He must win the event and hope that Seth Moniz lose in this round. If Seth advances his heat, he will be the Rookie of the Year.
Thank you so much for your time, Renato. We'll be checking in with Renato Hickl throughout the day. As you can tell, a lot at stake and a ton on the line. And what he was really emphasizing there is Italo is wearing the Jeep Leaders jersey, so they're all trying to catch him right now. So Italo wants to put more pressure on Medina. But as he went on to say, if Italo makes his seat, at that point, Kolohe is out of the title race. So we'll see what happens in the next 34 minutes. Still scoreless at the moment. Started off this event, Potts, with 5 world title contenders down to 3. This graphic is all about following world number 1 Italo Ferreira. So right now we're in the round of 16, right before the quarters. So if he loses to Pedersen, that's that equal 9th scenario. In that case, Medina would have to get a quarterfinal finish. If Medina's making it that far, Kolohe would be out. So a 9th for Ferreira. Medina would need to lose in this round as well for Kolohe to have that shot to go on to win the event and his first world title.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long shot for Kolohe, but, you know, you just never know at this place called Pipeline. It's a tricky lineup. It looks like there's a lot of backdoor barrels here this morning, which could really play into Kolohe's hands. I think he's got Michel Barres in his heat, which is not going to be an easy one, a past Pipeline master. So that's going to be a tough heat. I mean, there's no easy heats from now on in. All these guys have really got so much at stake that their back's against the wall no matter what you're talking about. So it's going to be game on. As we know, we've been following this intense Brazilian storm for quite some time now. Pedersen, Italo proud to be a part of it, and a special moment specifically for Italo Ferreira. It happened just the other day at the Billabong house when Renato Hickl knocked on the door.
This is the official present flag from WSL to you, acknowledging you make the provisional spot for the Olympic Games representing the country of Brazil. Congratulations.
And I'm so happy right now to represent Brazil in the Olympic Games with Gabriel. I hope I can represent Brazil, maybe with a gold medal.
What a special journey for this man, Italo Ferreira, in the title race, making it official for next year, Tokyo 2020, as he'll be dangerous to fight for the gold, as we know what he did earlier in September in Japan. Showing up late from some passport issues, surfed in jean shorts because he didn't have trunks, borrowed a surfboard, went on to win that event. All heart, all passion, which makes him one of the greatest entertainers on tour. Now, with a lot on the line, Potts, how do you break down Italo's version of pressure? Do you see him carry it at different stages of the year, and how is he carrying it now?
Well, you know, obviously past years, you know, you saw the ebbs and flows of Italo Ferreira, you know, really high peaks and low valleys, and I think he's evened that out a bit more now. I think he's dealing with it a lot better. He's a lot more consistent, I think, and that is, you know, obviously dealing with the pressure. Obviously now the pressure he's got today, a completely different scenario. So it's going to be interesting to see how, we haven't seen a wave ridden yet. I think a telltale sign. I mean, he's been quite calm in the lineup, which is a good thing. You know, obviously there hasn't been really much to talk about as far as waves go, really like a massive lull. But this first wave that Italo gets is really going to be a telltale sign on how he's feeling, how he's handling those emotions, because it's going to be hard to keep all that quiet in between the ears.
We've had a series of lay days, and we saw a lot of Italo surfing when we had about 5 calls on Tuesday. What type of surfing has Italo brought to this beach since then, Potts? Did you run into him yesterday?
Yeah, we did. We watched him have an afternoon surf with Jamie O'Brien, and they were on different equipment having some fun, and, you know, he just looked like he was having a ball, and I think that's the most important part. You know, I think when you look at any of the guys in the world title race at the moment, I don't think anyone is having as much fun as Italo Ferreira. And that's what you got to do, you know, get away from that whole situation and, you know, mix it up and have some fun. I mean, obviously, once that siren goes, the jersey goes on, the game face comes on as well. So to be able to get away from that, which is what he's been doing, you know, we've seen him having fun, doing some incredible tubes into that air reverse combo, which I think we might see a bit of today. I think that's one thing that's really going to get him through these heats is that tube to big air reverse. I saw him do one the other day that was absolutely phenomenal. So, you know, the perks of living right at Pipeline, you get to watch these guys practice and warm up, and Medina wasn't too bad the other day, by the way, as well. I think he got like 7 tubes in about half an hour, so Medina looking sharp as well.
So Italo Ferreira fired up and has got a great quiver under his feet to prepare for finals day. And looks like Kaipo Guerrero has made his way to the Billabong house.
Yes, I have, Joe. And you talk about quivers, well prepared for all the surf. We saw young Kepa out this morning get that barrel. You guys reviewed the youngster. Let's look at his equipment. It's a 5.0, 16.5 wide. Kids start really young. This is the baby board over here. We got the big boy boards in the back. Jack Freestone, he's got a quiver of Pizels back there. He's coming up against Ricardo Christie at heat number 3. But it all's happening right here at the Billabong house. But talk about mini equipment, 5.0, 16.5, and just 2 1/16 thick.
Unbelievable.
Think you can surf this?
It's like a roller skate for me. That is incredible. And that board took young Kepa Mendia to victory this morning in the free surf. Got the wave of the morning to kick it off. You cannot wipe that smile off his face. What a special day for Kepa, watching the world's best now compete. Kaipo getting us some access to the Billabong yard there. Right it off the wall. And a lot of focus has been not just on Italo, Jack Freestone as well, who's got that outside shot for Olympic qualification, but we did get the first wave of the morning, Potts.
Yeah, we did. Italo taking a little bit too long to get into that wave. Snuck underneath nicely, but that thing just ran off a little bit too quick, so maybe a quicker entrance into that wave. It looks like he's riding a smaller board than what he has over the last few rounds we've seen him, but obviously conditions a bit smaller today, nice and clean, so we're going to see these guys riding shorter boards for sure, but they're maybe needing a little bit more length to get into that wave. You know, backdoor's got kind of a ledge where you paddle, you think you're in, and then it sort of, then it ledges and you've got to get down it, and just a little bit too late on that occasion, but that wave stayed nice and open. Had he come out of that, it was going to be a massive score.
Now getting a start in the priority rotation, Crisanto now has right away. He'll get a little bit more space now, and Italo tries to catch his breath, knowing that he wants to put some pressure on Gabriel Medina. Out of all the world title contenders, everyone knows how dangerous Medina is. 3 finals, defending Pipe Masters champ, who has no weaknesses. Madi, Italo's partner, all focused, waiting to smile once he gets spin out of a barrel. And it's been some time, Potts.
Tense.
Free surf looked very consistent, as it typically does with more surfers out in the lineup. Things dramatically get pretty quiet in this first heat of the round of 16.
Yeah, you know, Mother Nature just playing into creating a little bit more drama, you know, ticking some time off the clock, which means these guys are going to have to make these next few waves really count. You know, that's the whole nature of the beast when it comes to professional surfing. The playing field that is ever changing. You can never really master it. You kind of work it out now and then. You have a lend of it for a little while, and then it takes it right away from you. So Pipeline's one of those spots. One day you paddle out and get every single good one. The next day you can't find one. So you've got to be really on it. You've got to be vigilant. You kind of got to hunt them down. You know, sitting in one spot, yeah, but keep repositioning yourself on the reef. Keep looking for those little signs of those backdoor barrels.
Well, it's finals day here at the Billabong Pipe Masters in memory of Andy Irons. Italo with a 1. Pedersen still scoreless in the first heat of the day. The third stop of the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing and the final stop of the World Surf League Championship Tour, the Billabong Pipe Masters, is brought to you by Billabong, the official apparel of the Billabong Pipe Masters. By Vans, the official footwear of the Vans Triple Crown of Surfing. By Jeep, the official vehicle of the Championship Tour. And by Michelob Ultra, the official beer of the World Surf League. World number 1 has just hit the lineup, trying to achieve his first world title of his career.
The yellow Jeep leader jersey is one of the best things I can imagine.
He's in probably the best headspace he's ever going to be in.
The biggest challenge, I think, is going to be my mind, for sure. If I can control my mind, I can do anything.
Italo on fire, Ferreira getting spit out.
I'm ready to do this, and that's why I dedicate myself every single day and wake up early and pray, and I think this is good to get all the energy and get this.
World number 1 is prepared for this moment. Right now, an opportunity at Pipeline for Italo Ferreira. Nice casual pump driving through that barrel. Winds up for a finish. Front foot slips off. Almost looked like a board to the face. Italo, though, capitalizing on what will be the best ride so far of this sleepy matchup, number-wise, as we take another look.
Yeah, beautiful little wave here from Italo Ferreira. Just wanting to get one under the belt. Just seamless, so easy. And then I think it's just due to the fact that he is absolutely fired up right now. That front foot just slipped off, but beautiful takeoff, knifing straight into it. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. But then finishing off with a board to the face. So not an ideal finish to that wave, but a great wave there nonetheless to get the ball rolling. And then this one here from Pedersen. Well, that happens a lot out here at Pipeline. You think you're into it. You need that extra stroke down the face of the wave, and well, over the falls he goes, Joe.
And pretty crazy. I'm still just taking that statement in that Pedersen made the other day, that he had really never spent time out here. Got his jerseys, made some heats, already into the round of 16. It's the final day of the year for the World Surf League Championship Tour. And world number 1 is in the lineup now. Italo Ferreira taking on Pedersen Crisanto in an all-Brazilian matchup. You look at the round of 16, Brazil has the most representation with 6 surfers there as the Stoked crew. That's Italo's corner for Billabong, celebrating a 5-1-7 for the panel. Pedersen stepped off, went over the falls as he's chasing a 6.04. New horn you heard there's for the overlapping format. Brand new heat just getting started with Iago Dora and a former pipe master in Julian Wilson as we check out the numbers.
Yeah, it's 5.17. Not a bad score. It wasn't a super deep tube. It wasn't long, but it was a great start nonetheless. And that's going to settle the nerves for him. You could tell he was kind of fidgety a little bit, and this one right here is just going to settle the nerves, get all those butterflies out, and he's just going to sort of go to business right now. A little bit amped up, and that's why that front foot slipped off. But riding a smaller board, as I said today, so that thing's going to be a little twitchy under his feet. Nice little tube ride, 5.17, good starter. A nice little base there to work on. But you can see how he's further up the board now. He slides the foot back. Have a look at that back foot, Joe. That back foot is kind of right off to the side of the board on the rail just to make sure those fins are nice and engaged. But good stuff there from Italo.
Italo's going to roll in again, trying to sneak into a pit at backdoor. And you're always just watching down the line just in case he can pull off a miracle exit. Incomplete on the effort. There's the board popping up now. Back to business. Looking to drive through a sneaky little section. And getting the completion there. So battle continues with Pedersen and Italo. Pedersen went over the falls and fighting for his first completion against world number 1. Non-priority heat just getting started with Iago Dora and Julian Wilson. Remember, Wilson finaled here last season when he was dealing with all that world title pressure. He's another guy that can play a serious spoiler this season on finals day. Iago got to start.
Yeah, Iago, a quick little in and out. This is just kind of the beginning of their role. They're going to take the scrap, so to speak. I love this little doggy door scenario here for Pedersen. Somehow fought his way out of that, so that's going to give him a lot of confidence moving forward. Great tube riding technique there. This guy's a nugget, super strong, and he fights his way out of that. These guys have got to be super careful, Joe, because backdoor at the moment is really, really shallow through that inside section.
Iago Dora able to burn some speed with the double arm bar. Throw tail reverse, incomplete. One of the most stylish surfers on tour. Gets a cool combination, almost complete with that finishing move. Rolling in now, 2014 Pipe Master up and out with Julian Wilson.
Yeah, I agree with that stylish comment for Iago Dora. Just unbelievable to watch. Talk about possible spoilers. I mean, this kid could go all the way today and win this thing. That's how good he's been surfing out here, Joe.
It's so interesting watching the year for Wilson coming off last year where he had an entire country cheering him on. He was the only surfer not from Brazil to win a couple of events last season.
Wow.
And it was between himself and Medina. He went all the way to the final, and now he's looking to get another pipe trophy to take back home to Coolum Beach. Let's get caught up with the Surfline forecast, and I say good morning to Strider Raspberry Wasilewski. How you doing, Waz?
I'm coming out of my skin at the moment, actually. I'm a little freaked out up here. Just watching this heat, watching these scenarios. It's like, you know how I am. I froth out, guys. You know me. So I'm really excited.
I love it. Thinking about waves and what we can expect throughout finals day. First, your first impression of what you're seeing in front of you right now.
Well, I'm seeing, basically what I'm seeing is we got a lot of waves coming down the pipe. So we have basically the buoys all night long we're cracking. We got probably 8 feet at 17 seconds for like 10 hours. I mean, that's a lot of surf hitting those buoys, which is just going to continue to roll in here all day, which is something that we've been waiting for and wanting. And we see those sets rolling in, and when they get here, they're just amazing. We saw that wave Italo had. We saw Gabriel Medina get an amazing wave this morning. The backdoor is good. And you know what? I'm ready for some information from Professor Pete, because that man has got so much info, even in his wetsuit out there.
Thank you, Strider. And as you had mentioned, the length of the 8 at 17 is really critical, because we see a little inconsistencies that we saw this morning, but hopefully that day as it fills in, we'll see that consistency lift. Although 17 seconds for that long a period, it means it's coming from a long distance away, which is good for the energy and the power of the waves, but again, a lack of consistency. So the boys are going to have to be very selective today. They're going to have to find those best waves. And when they come, you better be on them, because considering you may only have 2 or 3 sets of heat, you better capitalize. Back to you, Joe.
Thanks a lot, Pete Mel and Strider Wasilewski, for the condition report. And they got even deeper talking about buoy readings. When you hear a guy like Pete say 8 at 17, he's saying swell height 8 feet, 17-second intervals. Longer the interval, the more powerful the swell, the deeper it's hugging that ocean floor and that bathymetry of the lineup. So you'll see a lot of power in the sets that do come. Might be a little far in between, but that'll just create more drama here on finals day. Italo's camp very quiet at the moment, as this thing is still yet to really open up. 5.17 compared to Pedersen's 3.33 is keeping this heat ultra close. Pedersen just needs a 2.85 to move on to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, just small scores so far. And, you've got to also think the judges are kind of keeping the, keeping the scale down a bit, Joe. We've got a long day ahead of us, plenty of waves on the way, so anticipating things to come, especially from Italo Ferreira. 5.17, not a bad wave there. That's a great little backup for him. If he can match that or better it, then he's going to put a lot of pressure on Pedersen.
You can see some Brazilian fans traveling really far to come here to support all the Brazilian athletes on tour. And you think about surfing history and what it would mean to add another name from Brazil as a world champion. Sometimes it's one surfer carrying a region on tour, but talking about more depth to the storm, not just having a lot of competitors on tour, but have multiple world champions in a short period of time. We've seen Medina obviously achieve 2 world titles, in the running for a 3rd today. Adriano de Souza won the very year after him. And if Italo could put his name on that list in such a short period of time, I mean, it'd be hard to argue a better region in pro surfing at the moment. Yeah, well, they're the superpower in my eyes. I'm not seeing too many countries challenge them when it comes down to the Olympics and stuff like that. Obviously you talk about the depth. Thiago Dora, I mean, just one of those guys that, is sitting there in the wings. That's not a lot of focus on him at the moment, but, give this kid another year or two and you watch out. He's going to be in that world title race as well. Too good not to be. 15:40 on the clock. Italo, a 5.17. Kaipo, how's the support crew feeling right now?
The support team right now, they're supportive. A little tense, though. I mean, it's very, very close heat. We got Italo's boards here, both Timmy Patterson's, actually 3 of them, a 6'2", a 6'4", and a 6'1", all on the beach. We also have, always supporting Italo, his partner Mariana. Visual eyes on the water, still anticipating a big score here on the beach in the Italo camp, Joe.
Thank you so much, Kaipo. As we always know at Pipeline, you usually hear screams, hoots, hollers, everyone clapping, cheering on the beach. When a world title's on the line and your dreams are on the line, there's that tension that is so tangible at the moment. Contest officials were making that call this morning. There's a lot of smiling faces knowing that today would be the last day of the year with some clean conditions. Italo showed up, walked through the deck, and just parted the sea. Everyone was just trying to get out of his way. His look was so focused Wasn't a lot of high fives being thrown. They knew that he needed to study this lineup, and everyone gave him his room. I've never seen such a look like that on Italo's face in his entire career.
Yeah, well, so he should. You know, you don't want to be that guy walking down happy-go-lucky. It's business today. It's probably one of the most important days of Italo's life right now. This heat especially. I mean, he needs to get through this to keep that ball rolling, to keep that pressure on Kolohe Andino and Gabriel Medina. This is, as I said, one of the days that Italo may want to forget or may want to remember for the rest of his life. So it's up to him right now. The ball's in his court. It's his to lose. And there comes along a lot of pressure with that.
Remember, Gabriel Medina, current world #2, defending world champ and defending Pipe Masters champ, has Caio Ibelli in a rematch from Portugal. Caio has his own goals, looking to play spoiler in the title race. Also, Kolohe Andino, still a contender. We'll have Michel Perez, a Pipe Master to deal with at the end of the round.
Okay, Joe, here we go. This is what we've been waiting for. Talk about that long period swell. I think we're just about to see one of the first real set waves come through here during this heat. You can see them starting to cap out the back on that second reef. Gives you a little indication that they're on the way now. The work is to get yourself into that position. This is where all that hard work, all that practice comes into play. Am I in the right spot? Have I picked the lineup right? Here we go.
Italo lets Pedersen go, grabs his rail, nice positioning. Crisanto gets caught on the exit. Italo hangs on to priority. As his set still pours in, Dora looks like he'll capitalize on some room to move in the lineup. Iago just up and out. Nothing of consequence there, number-wise. And that's still going to the non-priority heat. Iago versus Julian Wilson. Italo hangs on to priority. When Pedersen set his rail, you're almost thinking, was that a mistake? Just got clipped at the end. And Ferrer able to hang on to priority and hang on to some of his nerves at the moment.
You know what, Pedersen just needs to go. I think, you know, that even though that wave wasn't, you know, the classic pipe wave that you're looking for, I thought he did a great job there, just pulling in nicely. I mean, it was super late getting under the curtain, which I like. Grabs the rail, slides in. It looks like he's been surfing this wave all his life, really. Good positioning there. Just kind of got dragged down the face a little bit too much. That wave bent out to sea with that north, and that's all she wrote. So I like the fact that he's just getting those waves, pushing, you know, Italo into maybe thinking about it. That's what you got to do. If this, you know, your opponent's got that priority, show a lot of interest in waves. Try and sell him on something. Try and get that priority off him.
Pedersen Crisanto, a rookie on tour, looking to keep his spot on tour was the main goal, and saw him move up to 20th on the Jeep leaderboard. So you guys can enjoy the live rankings update on WorldSurfLeague.com. Shows him equal 20th with Connor Coffin, which just felt reasonably safe with some contenders still in the draw like Iago Dora, who's already requalified on the QS but could potentially go to the top 22. Also Jesse Mendez looking to go the distance. So still a couple of names yet to be decided for the tour in 2020. And Pedersen doing a good job just to be a part of finals day, increasing that ranking on the Jeep leaderboard. 11 minutes on the clock. Italo still out front. Pete Mel, how's the energy in the lineup?
Well, it's a little tense considering that we have those inconsistencies, but the ocean is filled with energy. You know, it's you can feel it as there's a 17-second interval. The energy is really high, so the rips are pulling everywhere. I'm just having to adjust myself all the time. The athletes are sitting right on the reef, so it's not so bad there, but you can definitely feel the ocean moving, especially that rip that's running along the sandbar. So, you know, I don't know if that's going to play a full factor, but right now, I would say that these guys, that's where I feel like the consistency is being a play here, because all that energy is pulling it off the reef, and these guys are sitting here. But you would have to say that all that time sitting in the head might play a little bit of a role. I'm sure they'd be trying some breathing exercise of some sort. I know I am.
That's right, Pete. Just trying to settle things down and calm things down, because there's 10 minutes to go, and sometimes the best thing for a guy like Italo, who's incredibly active, is just to get a ton of opportunity. We were talking to Shane Dorian the other day. Shane on the better days was, you know, helping Italo pick the right ones and not overdoing it with wave selection. For a heat like this, though, Italo's got to be going crazy in his mind. He likes catching 20 waves a heat.
Yeah, but you know what? His opponent's not really putting any pressure on him.
Here comes Iago Dora in the heat with Wilson. Going to maneuvers. 2 clean snaps to put a number on the board. 2.0 was his best weight before that. Iago and Julian just will take options that Italo and Pedersen don't want. So that's the priority heat.
I thought that was a smart move there from Iago. I mean, it's not going to be a huge score, but, you know, every wave he catches, you kind of feel a little bit more comfortable, get the blood flowing, get those nerves out of the way. You can see him here this wave. Probably surfed this wave at about 50% of his ability. Little check turn there, and then I like this last maneuver up into the lip and showed a little bit of flare right there, but it's not going to be massive, but it's just getting another ball, another wave under your belt, getting that confidence level through the roof, and when it's your turn to have that priority situation, you're ready.
And now trying to pull in under the hood quickly. Not much happening on that section. Pedersen, Crisanto, 0.27, hollow tube and pipeline. Italo makes it. So Ferreira staying patient, trying to pick the right waves. Just his 4th wave ridden in the matchup. We'll now have a backup for the 517.
I guarantee you, Italo and Shane had a bit of a chat this morning, assessed the conditions and said, okay, look, we know you like catching a lot of waves, but today we're going to play a different game. We're going to play the patient game. We're going to get priority. We're going to pick the good ones. All you need is 2 screamers, and so far it's working. I mean, he's been super patient. Only 3 waves under his belt for Italo Ferreira. That is like foreign territory right there. 517 is going to be another good score, and that 517 is now his backup, so looking good.
Italo Ferreira trying to make the quarterfinals to keep that lead solid on the Jeep leaderboard over Gabriel Medina. So he's already feeling he's in a must-win situation. For a guy that thrives on passion and energy, he's only made one quarterfinal once in his career at Pipe. Let's see what happened here.
Yeah, late drop, which he loves. Pumps through that section and squeaks out the end of it. A little bit of a fist pump there from Italo. Julian was having a close look at that one. Super late drop, double pump in the tube ride, and it comes out nice and clean. The crowd love it. And Italo Ferreira with that little fist pump. Joe, have a look at that score. Good one.
6.67 for Italo. 517 was his wave before. So a much better number for world number 1. Now putting the pressure that he was hoping for on Pedersen Crisanto, who now needs an 8.51 to take the lead. Crazy tension in the lineup with a world title on the line. Ferreira probably feeling just a bit better, but Pedersen has been connected to this wave, that pipe and backdoor, with no experience out here in the lineup. Still giving it all he has to make sure he's on tour next season. Crisanto needs an 8.51.
You know, anywhere else in the world, you kind of go, well, you know, that's going to be a tough call, but here at Pipeline, it's there's 10-point rise just around the corner. So you've got to stay in this. You know, you can't afford to let your mind wander and think, okay, it's all done and dusted. I need an excellent score. That could be just around the corner. One good wave can change everything out here at Backdoor and Pipeline. So he's got to stay in the game. 6 minutes and 20 seconds to go, but he's got priority. So he's literally got to sit there and wait for something good to come through.
So much on the line. And for the next 6 minutes, if Italo keeps this lead over Pedersen, then Kolohe Andino would be out of the world title race. For Andino, he needs Italo and Medina to lose in the round of 16. And what a year it's been for the Californian, keeping himself the mathematical shot at the title race. The first time he's accomplished that in his career. Right now, he's putting all of his energy into Pedersen Crisanto with 5:45 to go.
Absolutely. You know, you what is it? Your enemy's enemy becomes your friend. But, you know, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you obviously want someone to win, but at the end of the day, you've got to go out and apply your job and do what you have to do. You know, Kolohe knows that. I think he's got a taste of that yellow jersey in that world title race, and I think he's going to be in there in a few more years to come for sure.
Having a look now with priority or without it. Italo just decides to freestyle a wild flyaway punt in the flats. Wisely throwing that thing away. And with the conditions today being a little bit inconsistent, it'll be interesting where those aerial maneuvers will go on the scale today, Potts.
Well, I think if you combo it up, I think it becomes relevant. I think if it's the only maneuver on the wave, I think then it's going to maybe fall into it just below the tube riding category. It's not going to be as good. You won't get as many points for it, I don't think. But if you use it as a combination, you come out of the barrel into that front side air reverse, I think then it becomes relevant.
And Italo's thrown down some dynamic airs this season. The famous air to beat Kolohe on the buzzer in small conditions at Duramba. Then the crazy full rotation that he threw down in Portugal to start off the final at Peniche with a perfect 10 against Jordy Smith. I think that big backside full road has been his signature move this season. 4:15 still to go in this first heat of the morning. Strider, how's Italo's board looking from your angle?
Well, you know, I was watching him take that last wave, not the air wave, but the barrel that he got, and he had Julian Wilson outside, and he was looking at it, but he's got such a small board that he can sit right underneath it, and as you saw him knife into that thing on a 6.2 today. He's been riding 6.4s. He had as big of a 6.6 in heats already in this event, but on a 6.2 out there, and, the Shapers night that Billabong put on down at the Sugar Mill, they were talking about the fact that, really, these Shapers are actually just keeping up with how well the surfers are surfing. So basically just making things that will just match their skill and their ability. So really fun to watch and get into the details on size of board.
Thank you, Strider. What a beautiful night that was before the waiting period began. Put on by Billabong, honoring Dick Brewer. What a legendary shaper. And I'll add some of the best shapers in the world, especially for Pipeline, there for a little discussion to talk about the equipment that is needed to succeed here at Pipeline. Italo driving, a lot of speed, looking to pull in, punches free of that section. He is so incredibly quick, speeding down the line. That wave almost was impossible to keep up with if your name was an Italo Ferreira. He'll punch 3 of the barrel, won't get much of a score. The 2:45 still to go for world number 1.
Yeah, he's looking good. You know, he's doing what he needs to do, saving some for later in the day. Doesn't have to produce his best just yet. 5.17 and a 6.67, not a bad 2-wave total. Sleepy conditions here this morning. I'm expecting it to light up through the day. But Italo Ferreira just doing his job, and it's going to be a long day. There's going to be a lot of emotion. He's got to keep all that stuff at bay and try and save some energy for later in the piece, because he's going to need it, that's for sure.
2:15 to potentially decide the Rookie of the Year race. If Pedersen loses in this matchup, it'll officially go to Seth Moniz before his heat with Kelly. Seth staying calm, comfortable, waxing up the Decoros, and preparing for the greatest of all time.
Yep, it's going to be a tough heat for Seth, but I kind of think it's an evenly matched heat right there. I think Seth's got an incredible game out here. You know, with that inconsistency, I think that's going to come into play as well. If you've got priority at the right time, Joe, when that bomb comes through, there's not much your opponent can do about it, even if your name is Kelly Slater.
What a classic matchup to look forward to. Minute 25 left in the first heat of the morning. Italo 6.67, 5.17. Getting those scores to put pressure on the rookie on tour. Italo 25, Pedersen 27 years of age. If you drove from Pedersen's house to Italo's house, it would probably take 2 days, over 2,000 miles in between. Italo from way up north. Both with different goals here on finals day at the end of the season. Pedersen doing a great job making it this far in his first showing here at Piper Backdoor. To move up the rankings just a bit, moving a couple of spots to 20th. And then we heard the news that he'd have to go on to win the event to challenge Seth for that Rookie of the Year race. Down to 30 seconds. Mariana starting to talk a little bit more, Ponce. She was absolutely silent this morning.
I think the partners feel more pressure than the athletes do, really. And we see there shaking hands. This heat is over. Italo's done his job, moved through the next round, which takes Kolohe out of the equation, Joe.
Kolohe Andino is out of the title race. It's down to Italo Ferreira and Gabriel Medina fighting for a world title in 2019. Also making it official, Seth Moniz clinching the Rookie of the Year honor. couple of big accomplishments there for the Billabong house. Big rotator for Italo as he moves on to the quarterfinals. Be right back at Pipeline for more after this. Check out the 2019 World Surf League collection at WSLStore.com. New WSL gear now available for men, women, and kids. Support your favorite surfers and get your athlete jersey and other WSL gear at WSLStore.com.
Welcome back to the Billabong Pipe Masters in memory of Andy Irons. Big news coming through here. We have the 2019 Championship Tour Rookie of the Year, Seth Moniz. Seth, how do you feel about that?
Oh, I'm stoked, just paddling out for my next heat with Kelly, and it's just more good news, and still a lot to do today. It's a big day. I have big goals, try to take out this comp, but one heat at a time. Got the GOAT coming up. It's going to be a good one.
Your thoughts on that matchup with Kelly Slater?
It's going to be fun. I had one heat out here with him in the Vulcan Pipe Pro, and I don't know, the waves are pretty good, so I'm just looking to get some good waves and do my thing.
There you go. Let's get caught up with the action. Congratulations, Seth Moniz. We'll see him with Kelly Slater next heat.
Thank you, Kaipo. A big moment for Seth Moniz.
Good boy.
And his friends and family, Mizuno, Father Tony.
Still not done. It's just the beginning,
They're trying to remind him not to celebrate too early. He's got the heat with Kelly coming up next. Sliding into the pit quickly there, Wilson. Gets the exit as he's still battling with Iago Dora. Iago Julian take priority now in the water. Over the next heat with Ricardo Christie and Jack Freestone. Let's see what happened on this effort.
Yeah, Julian, well, a pipe master in his own right, one of the best tube riders in the world. Kind of baffling he's not in that world title race for me this year, but did all the hard yards last year, and you've got to feel a little bit of fatigue maybe coming into the following year after getting so close. Just emotionally and physically, it's got to drain you. It's got to take a lot out of you, and then to get yourself back into that race. I think Julian is worthy all day long, but he's just going to have to settle for maybe a win here at Pipeline.
As we look at the new heat, getting set, Ricardo Christie, number 33 in the world, taking on Jack Freestone. And Freestone turning in one of his better seasons on the championship tour. You're watching Finals Day on Fox Sports. Round of 16, overlapping format continues. Iago Dora taking on a pipe master and Julian Wilson, and Ricardo Christie just getting started against Jack Freestone. Let's now hear from world number 1, Italo Ferreras with Rosie Hodge.
Thank you, Joe. Making another heat, Italo, we have to check in with you on such a big day. How are the nerves? How's the excitement?
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure, but I'm trying to feel the moment, like enjoy everyone here, like all the energy and everything. So I know what I was like, so relaxed and calm, and try to get the best waves off the heat. And yeah, that was a good hit, just to start. And yeah, I think it's gonna be a good day for sure.
As you roll through to the quarterfinals with that heat, when you've eliminated Kalohe and Dino from the world title race, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that was a good hit, and now I'm in the quarterfinal, so I'm so happy, I'm so stoked on that. But I want more, so there's some guys behind me, so I need to do this,
Good job, Italo. We'll send it back to you guys.
Thank you, Rosie. Great words from world number 1, Italo Ferreira. Just digesting that first heat. He's been waiting to surf for over a week. He wanted it to happen on Tuesday. Not many athletes have to go through that mental rhythm change, Potts, of going, okay, tomorrow's on, and then going, actually, it's not. Yeah. And having to put that kind of on hold, because that energy and that psych-up routine can absolutely drain you through a waiting period.
Absolutely. It's an emotional roller coaster, and, emotions can, physically tire you out. So you've got to keep all that at bay. I think these guys now, understand the fact, okay, switch on when you hear the word. Until then, just keep everything nice and cool and calm. And obviously, once the call's out that it's on, then you click into that next gear.
Now rolling in and pulling into the barrel. Getting spit out, Julian Wilson. Has some space. Big section to blow the tail out. Almost coming down with a big finish. Julian's previous score, 2.10. Iago's got pocket twos at the moment. That heat is wide open. number-wise with 16:45 to go. And a big heat on the line for Wilson, and a big heat on the line for Jack Freestone as far as Olympic qualification's concerned.
Beautiful setup work there from Julian Wilson. Comes out nice and clean. I'm expecting a lot of that from Julian today. He's kind of surfing maybe with a little bit of Olympic pressure, but world title pressure, absolutely none. So he's going to be freed up. And you talk about incredible spoiler, possibly. I think he's starting to find his feet in this heat, that's for sure. Beautiful little tube ride, great style, great stance. I mean, flawless when it comes to riding the barrel. I think one of the best in the world. Just hasn't really had one of those years that he'd been looking for. Can he finish with a bang? He's done it before. Had a lackluster year, finished with a win here, and then went on to put himself in the world title race. So can he change his momentum around here at Pipe?
And he loves playing spoiler. He loves Pipeline, and he wants to win this heat to guarantee his spot in the Olympics next year. If he loses this heat, then it would open up the door for Jack Freestone, not just for Olympic qualification, but also for the Bands Triple Crown of Surfing, still led by Ethan Ewing at the moment for that coveted title. So we'll keep you posted on what's at stake throughout the day. Every heat is history and has something on the line.
And then obviously you and Kelly are going to have to amongst each other, right? Time check now set is 15.
Your 2019 Rookie of the Year. Getting the update for the marshalling area. A high five from Ray Shido. And he'll prepare for a big opportunity to battle with the greatest of all time, a 7-time pipe master, and Kelly Slater, who had a 10 the other day at backdoor that we can't stop watching. This is Ricardo Christie. He'll have to step off. Just a .93 start as he battled that injury in the heat when he landed on his fin with his shin. Got about 10 stitches. Was in a lot of pain, but got through the elimination round. Got through the round of 32, which was massive for the title race because that win was over Felipe Toledo.
Yeah, you know, the wounded animal, we always talk about that as twice as dangerous. And, you know, obviously Ricardo ranked number 33, so hasn't had the year that he's been looking for. Be nice to walk away with a good result here. Sort of an early Christmas present, maybe. Julian Wilson, 4.17. Joe puts himself out in the lead over Yago Dora. Yago now needing a 4.27. So just small scores in that heat. Wide open, as you said before. Still waiting for Jack Freestone to open his account.
And looking at 13:40 in the priority heat. Pete Mel, I'm looking for. Did you change your spot? Where are you at?
I did. I moved over to backdoor. I wanted to see how these rights were looking, and haven't seen many of those sets yet, so we're waiting on that. But you had mentioned earlier, Potts, about that backdoor being really shallow, and I looked down. Yeah, you've got about 6 feet, and then once the waves break, and it goes into 3 feet. The tides today, it's high tide right now at about 9 a.m., and then we have a low tide. It's actually a minus tide at 3:15. So at this point, we're looking at those inconsistencies, probably filled in with a little bit of water on the reef, and it's still shallow, so I can't even imagine what's going to happen at that minus tide this afternoon.
Thank you so much, Pete. It's really cool to see how the tides really do affect things all around the world. You don't see a dramatic shift in the height and depth of those tide changes in Hawaii, but you see a dramatic difference of what it might be like to ride over a shallow section of backdoor. The most dangerous wave in the world here at Pipe. So many crazy injuries over the years. We've seen in competition when it's absolutely bombing, or even a little bit smaller. There's been some scary ones. Pete Durbich surviving one of the most radical wipeouts. Went on to recover and surfing better than ever. A former Pipe Master champ himself. And a big part of the Australian Olympic team program. 12:15 beat, and the Australians are watching these two heats very closely to see if it'll be Julian making it official for Tokyo 2020 next year, or if it'll open up the door for Jack Freestone. Ricardo Christie with some backing there, representing New Zealand well on the top 34. He'll be happy to be a part of the Challenger Series next year with a 10,000 rated event. heading to New Zealand. Vans Triple Crown to Surfing title race also continues. Julian Wilson, a former Vans Triple Crown to Surfing champion, clinching that along with his Pipe Masters trophy in 2014. One of the hardest things to do, to be brilliant through not just one, but 3 stops on the North Shore of Oahu. Often called the Proving Grounds, for good reason. Haleiwa, Sunset, Pipe. To be #1 at the end of all those 3 is such a huge honor. Right next to those world title trophies, you can see a big Triple Crown trophy. Wilson still hoping for the world title to happen soon in his career. And Freestone knowing if he wins this event, can potentially clinch that Vans Triple Crown title. Have guys like Michel Perez, Kelly Slater still in the mix as well. Believe it or not, Michel hasn't won a Vans Triple Crown title yet.
But he's won every event.
He has won every event.
Yeah, got to be consistent.
I feel like he's winning every time I see him.
Yeah, you got to be consistent, you know. And I think, obviously, back in the day, through the 80s and 90s, this Triple Crown, each event counted for the world title as well. So there was that added pressure. It wasn't a pick and choose. Do you want to surf in it or not? You had to. If you wanted to go on to win the world title as well as a Triple Crown. Sets out the back. This is more like it. That long period swell starting to fill in. Yago Dora with priority decides to let the first one go.
And taking advantage of that is Julian Wilson, getting clipped at the start. So nothing changing to his total out front. Yago potentially with a better opportunity here. And Yago one drive, but too deep. So after a bit of a lull, set comes through. Nothing changes number-wise. Just less time on the clock. Ricardo looks interested. Christie takes this wave. Great line to punch free for a moment. But without the board, he's down. Thinking like a day like today, a make like that could be so critical as a backup score, or even your main number, to get into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, you've got to make those, but, you know, it's a powerful wave. Let's have a look at Ricardo. Beautiful positioning. Did all the hard work and just got clipped at the end of that one.
Now Yago swinging under the hood. Nice drive, comes out clean. Dora off the bottom, and an aggressive top turn hack to finish. A couple of twos before that. Now he's opening up the scale. A 4.27 or better gets him the lead off Wilson. 8:19 on the clock here in the round of 16. Heat number 2, Yago Dora just got barreled and stayed on his feet for a major combination of moves. Dora just 23, one of the younger names in the draw here on finals day. Potts, how'd you like this one?
I loved it. Why? Because it was deep, it was behind the curtain, created that drama. He came out and produced a beautiful little finishing maneuver. And we saw him do a couple of turns on a wave before that garnered him 2 points. But now you add the tube ride with that finishing maneuver. We're going to see it go up towards that 4.27. I think it's borderline, but I love the fact he's nice and deep. You can see that wave crumbling in front of him. Up and over the foam ball and comes out nice and clean. Great stuff there from Yago Dora. I like the finishing turn as well. Connecting nicely with the lip. And free falls out of the sky. Beautiful stuff there from the young Brazilian. 4.27 is the requirement. I think it's right there, Joe.
What a special combination of moves. Barrel to hack over the shallow reef for Yago Dora. And score is still yet to drift in yet. Dora, the original free surfer when he was a kid, turned ultra competitor. With all of his dad's knowledge getting passed down to him. Leandro Dora coaching Adriano de Souza to a world title in 2015. Also Lucas Silveira to a world junior title that same season. Numbers in. Dora takes the lead off Wilson with a 5.5.
Yeah, you know what? We're going to see a lot of seesaw battles today. Just due to the inconsistency, we're going to see the lead change hands quite often, which we love because it just flip-flops the pressure onto the your opponent's shoulders, and that's what your job is. You know, keep applying that pressure. Keep making your opponent think he's got to do more than he actually has to. There's a trick to that, and that's called riding waves. Just keep catching waves, keep putting scores on the board, keep improving on your position. Right now, Yago Dora's backup is a 2.0, so now that's his mission, is to get rid of that, replace that with something of substance, and apply the pressure on Julian.
6 minutes on the clock. Yago's family found a really cool stretch of beach called Rio Tavares, and you see Yago write that on his board just to represent his favorite wave in the world when he's home. It actually used to be a secret spot. There's just long trails you could take there. It's been built up since, so there's a pretty tight crowd out there. But the Dora family absolutely loves it. Good friends with top skaters in the world like Pedro Barros. It's a big hang spot for them to all surf together, push each other. Yago with the lead at the moment, still 5:30 on the clock. Strider Wasilewski, how are you picking the waves out there today?
You know, I've been watching the sets all morning, and it looks like the first wave of the set is the best wave of the set. So when those sets come in, you want to be on it. Having priority and having that first ticket to catch that magic wave is the way to go out here right now. We saw Yago. That was actually another set that came in behind the one before it, and he was on the first wave, and it was a good wave. And the one that Julian fell on, he was just a little too deep, but that wave peeled off perfect, and it was the first wave of the set.
Thank you, Strider. All these little things could make the difference in getting you into the quarterfinals. Wave selection, so important, especially on days like today when you might not have that many opportunities. Wipeouts have a whole nother meaning because you might not get another shot, especially when you're down to 4:40 to go. Saw Freestone get a wave, not much happening there. Christie still just a 1-2-3, so that non-priority heat just getting underway. For Christie, he's out of contention to requalify. He said he just wants to enjoy this Pipe Masters event. When he hurt himself, he was devastated, but he's turned on a brilliant performance.
How about right now? And
Kelly Slater, the greatest of all time, a 7-time Pipe Master. Is now preparing for Seth Moniz.
I think he knows every grain of sand on this beach by name. I think he's named every grain of sand. Definitely super focused. In it to win it is Kelly Slater.
There's some sort of magic that you see with Kelly when he gets a certain type of wave. That wave the other day at Backdoor to get a perfect 10 changed everything in his demeanor, his energy, his smile. All of a sudden you can see he's completely connected to the task at hand as we watch another opportunity at Backdoor.
Wow.
And trying to fly out the other end. Jack Freestone ends up getting clipped on the exit. Now Yago Dora back to business and Pipe up and out.
You talk about magic from Kelly, and there's certain locations around the world where you kind of expect it, you know, and here is one of those places. I mean, even with on a day like today, he's going to paddle out, and I think somehow the waves are just going to get better.
That's what it's all about on finals day and surfing perfect conditions. If you guys aren't here at Pipeline, you never surf pipe, well, you can get an opportunity to if you download TrueSurf, the video game, to your mobile phones. You get live conditions courtesy of Surfline, so you'll surf it just like this as we fall into the pit at Backdoor. Wilson, incomplete. But I'm sure a lot of you gamers out there would have made that barrel on TrueSurf. 2 minutes to go, Potts, here in the second heat of the round of 16.
Oh, Julian paying dearly. Let's hope his board's in one piece. His leash is okay. Yep. Because that would have been disastrous to have to come in with 1 minute and 50 seconds to go, needing a 3.34.
And an important heat for Wilson. Remember, he had to win this heat to guarantee his spot on the Olympic team for Australia. If he goes down here, that opens the door for Jack Freestone. Freestone has to go on to win the event, but Jack did mention the other day that it is something on his mind. It is a goal of his. Wilson just chasing a 3.34 down to a minute 20. Priority with Yago Dora. Remember, winner of this heat will have world #1 in the quarterfinals. Italo Ferreira, looking at all the former pipe masters like Julian Wilson, Kelly Slater, Gabriel Medina, Michel Perez. There's a lot of experience looking to play spoiler today. And with Yago holding priority, Wilson clearly showing his frustration.
Yeah, he just didn't get off to the start that he was looking for. One wave of a 4.17, it's just not enough at this level. You know, you need to have a couple of good backups, but even with Yago, kind of left the door open with that 2-point ride as a backup as well. That just shows you how tricky and how inconsistent it is. So the premium on getting the right wave, capitalizing, making sure you finish it off is so important. Have that priority at the right time. Have a little bit of luck go your way today, I think, is probably part of it as well. But very, very tricky conditions here this morning.
Into the countdown for the round of 16, heat number 2. And Julian Wilson left chasing a 3.34. Yago takes out a former pipe master to join Italo Ferreira in the first quarterfinal of the Billabong Pipe Masters in memory of Andy Irons. A lot going on finals day. When we come back, Kelly Slater hits the lineup with Seth Moniz.
I'm taking you guys with me on the nightmare of packing big wave boards. Yeah, I take 3 boards, 2 9/8, and we're deciding on 9/6, or do we bring a 10-2?
And it's going to be Nathan Florence gliding into this one.
First things first, we're gonna put these leashes on. Big wave leashes are a little different. They don't have a Velcro. You have to tie them on, that's through there, and then you go this side, then we tie. The 10-2. It's so big. I'm bringing it. I bring a inflation vest that is the first line of defense against a big hold down. This is second line of defense. A tailbone pad, quad pads, rib pads. Okay, we got our canisters. Gotta check if these are clear for takeoff. Sealed, screw them back in. Okay guys, we'll see you channel side at Jaws.
Welcome back to the Billabong Pipe Masters in memory of Andy Irons. Winding the clock back to 98, Kelly Slater still at the top of his game today, but back here he was super dominant, showing some frustrations there, but he went on to become the Van's Triple Crown of Surfing champion. There really isn't too many events, too many accolades that he hasn't collected in the sport, and he's chasing an 8th Pipe Masters title. Here today on finals day, Ronnie Blakey with Barton Lynch. Barton, always great to look back at Vision of Kelly. So timeless his approach. Still, even looking back at this Vision, it would be winning events here at Pipe.
And he got waves better than the ones we've seen just the other day. So still in the prime of his life, heading towards 50 years old, but still at the top of his game, and particularly in conditions like this. Nowhere suits him like the pipeline.
And a lot on the line for Slater as we come into finals day here, the last day of the Championship Tour season. Slater wants that Olympic spot. He's making a run up the Jeep leaderboard at the moment. Already has the opportunity to leapfrog Jeremy Flores, and obviously wants to place higher than John Florence. Has some work to do. John Florence, he's moving through the rounds as well, but he's up against Seth Moniz, and this is going to be a magic showdown, I'm sure. Also in the lineup in this dual heat format, Ricardo Christie taking on Jack Freestone.
Yeah, that's been a little bit slow to get started. Ricardo and Jack, and now Seth and Kelly have hit the water. Those guys will pick the eyeballs out of the lineup. They know where opportunity sits better than most people in the world, so expect some action in this next period of time as those two champions Look, the youngest Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, an awesome achievement for Seth, and Kelly Slater will relish this opportunity to take on the freshly crowned Rookie of the Year, just to prove that he's still got what it takes to upset these youngsters. Great to have your company here on finals day at the Billabong Pipe Masters in memory of Andy Irons. Ronnie Blakey, joined by a man that you could honestly put some jumper leads on at the moment and start a flat battery with. Barton Lynch is feeling the electricity, and it's great to be here with the 88 World Champ. Good to see you, mate.
So good to be here. What a day. These are the days we live for, Ronnie. You know, you live for them as a competitor. Now as a commentator, it's even better, really, because you get to share in other people's joy. And today someone's going to be extremely elated, have the day of their life, and someone else is going to be heartbroken. And then we've got the Vans Triple Crown, Olympic qualification. We've got so many things on the line here. It's an amazing day. And the conditions are so much better than what they were the other day. So great call not running a couple of days ago and waiting for today. A little inconsistent, but when they come, they're really good.
Let's check in with the Office of Tours and Competitions for the World Surf League. Renato Hickel joins us. And Renato, plenty on the line here for all the competitors out there in the lineup at the moment.
That is correct, Blakey. And we can't forget that in '88, Barton also was the Pipe Masters champion. In fact, they clinched the title here with that win. And hit 3 first. So Jack Freestone got the door open with the loss of Julia Wilson on a prior heat. He has a shot now at Olympic qualification for Australia and at the title of the Vans Triple Crown. The only way, he must win pipe. It's the only chance he has. So he must win this heat and go all the way to the final, win the event. On the heat 4, Kelly's fighting for that spot with John Florence, as you guys explained. He obviously needs to win this heat and finish 2 spots ahead of John in this event. And Kelly also has a shot at Triple Crown, but he has a minor task. With a third, with a semi-final, he takes the lead from Ethan Wewin, and he will clinch the Triple Crown title. And Seth Moniz, it's already Rookie of the Year, so he's just cruising, styling.
All right, he wants to finish the year with a bang. Thanks for that, Renato.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you,
it's going to be fun to watch all the heats play out today in the round of 16, because we mentioned there's a lot on the line. For Seth Moniz, he has an opportunity to crack the top 10. Getting past Kelly Slater will put him in a great position to do that. But Slater, some massive goals for him. The opportunity to win a Vans Triple Crown title is huge for him. He needs to get to that semi-final spot to overtake Ethan Ewing.
And I suppose, you know, for Kelly, winning it used to be a habit, and it used to happen so regularly and so consistently, but it hasn't been that way for quite some time. Kelly hasn't been in that spotlight. He's had, you know, that 10 the other day was one of the highlights of his year so far, and the last few years, really, for that matter. So those victories of that level, like a Triple Crown or this event or Olympic qualification, have been a little few and far between for the greatest of all time. So we know he's hungry.
He's only cracked the final series at 2 events this year, and that was at Bells Beach and over in Bali, where he had a 3rd place finish there. But here at Pipe, it's a different story. 26 previous Pipe Masters appearances, 7 victories, 3 runner-ups, 7 semi-final finishes, and only 6 times out of those 26 years has he failed to make the quarterfinals. So an incredible track record here, and this is a place where he seems to be so comfortable. Pete Mel, you've been watching him get prepared. How's he looking?
Yeah, he's looking good, and one of the preparations that he's been doing, as he mentioned, all of that experience here at Pipeline, but he's constantly trying to refine himself. What he's been doing lately is been working with Mark Visser throughout this winter. He's been doing some training, putting himself in super stressful situations and learning to get himself out of those situations and putting himself into the present. So difficult to do, but he's been doing this course with him, and he's really liking it and getting a lot out of it. Working on the breathing so he can actually settle himself down when he needs to, and he knows how to pump himself up. If he gets into a stressful situation, he's able to get himself into the present. And a guy at 47 years old, able to keep refining himself. I mean, that's why we're seeing him at this top level.
Yeah, it's the Ocean Warrior course that you're talking about, and it was Shane Dorian that towed him into that class and that new way of thinking. And Kelly was hearing a lot about the work Mark Visser was doing, working with Navy SEALs and some of the techniques that they use with their breath holding tech. And he said it helped to calm him in situations, not necessarily take the edge off when he was in bigger conditions, but just settling his breathing when he was surfing crowded lineups here at Pipe and just keeping calm in the moment.
The way your body responds to all of that stimuli around you, if you get caught up in it and everything's going as fast as it's happening around you, that oxygen tends to burn that way too. So you want to take your time, you want to be calm and patient, and particularly, you know, you would figure that we talk about stressful situations, no one would be more accustomed to dealing with them than Kelly Slater, but it's never too late to learn new tricks, is it?
13.5 minutes remaining in Heat 3. Jack Freestone has a very slight lead over Ricardo Christie. Waiting for that exchange to really catch fire here. We're yet to see the first rides for Seth Moniz and Kelly Slater out there in Heat number 4, but we have some set waves approaching and surfers scrambling to get themselves into position at the moment.
Jacoby super disappointed because he just went a wave with the priority that was quite a small wave, and when he took off I thought, why are you doing this? And then you lose the priority, handed over to Ricardo Christie, and you've got Seth and Kelly in the lineup with you, and then all of a sudden the set comes in. But sometimes today these sets have been coming through the off the wall area, which as you're on the beach, it's to your left down there, exactly where you can see those couple of free surfers down there. A lot of swell has been funneling down that alley. But you know what happens when it's inconsistent, as it is today? It's really not that different, because when it's consistent, you've still got to pick the eyes out of it, and you've still got to find the best ones. When it's consistent, there's all sorts of other ways. They're still of no interest. So inconsistent or consistent doesn't really matter. Wave selection's still super important. You've got to select and wait.
The spotlight always burns bright on Kelly Slater, and one of the things we're always paying very close attention to is his equipment. Perhaps no one on tour, Kaipo, experiments more.
Yeah, Ron, it's been an interesting story with Kelly this year, riding numerous shapers throughout the season. Pipeline, he's going to trust Wade Tokoro. Tokoro is the Houdini model on Slater Designs. He's out there on a 6'4". This is his backup, a 6'2", and a 6'1", also in the rack. All quads for Kelly Slater Tokoros. Interestingly enough, he's matched up against Seth Moniz, whose lifelong shaper is also Wade Tokoro. So between that matchup, Seth Moniz and Kelly Slater both sharing the same shaper.
Well, Tokoro's going to be happy no matter what happens here. He's got the Rookie of the Year already, and someone's going to ride his boards to the quarterfinals. But Slater, just incredible. Barton, you actually were in the first final that Kelly won here in 92. All these years later, he's still there, just setting the pace. He's got the highest scoring ride of the event so far, a 10-point ride, and the second highest heat score. Movement on the takeoff zone here. And this is Ricardo Christie in heat 3. This one's going to get away from him and shuts down. But just amazing. Kelly's record at this venue, isn't it?
Oh, it's incredible, and you know, across the global world of surfing in general, what he's been able to achieve and the amount of time he's been at it, and the fact that somehow he still finds the motivation to wake up and cares about heat wins, cares about performing at the highest level, it's inspiring for all of us.
Ricardo will head back out with not a lot to gain from that last ride. Jack Freestone's now going to have that priority, still waiting for Kelly and Seth to launch into their first rides here. Gives us an opportunity to take a look back in time in 98 when Slater wrapped up his second Vans Triple Crown title at 26 years of age. And look at Seth Moniz at the same time. 1 year, 4 months. You can tell who Seth is too. It's like brother Josh there on the left.
Yeah, sitting at Waimea Bay. You can see the clock tower there, the tower of the church in the background. And Kelly Slater hoisting that trophy.
Well, Pete Mel made the comment earlier on, like no one knows that every grain of sand on the beach like Slater does. Seth Moniz grew up eating it by the looks of things. A big handful of the stuff there. So he's pretty familiar with this lineup as well, growing up on the South Shore. And what a surfing family he hails from.
He does. Mum Tammy, father Tony, surfing royalty, and then all the brothers. And there's Kaio Abelli coming up, ironically enough, against Gabriel Medina, as the draw would have it after their controversial heat over there in Portugal that had massive implications, and I suppose in a lot of ways meant that we're still here today deciding a world champion. And this guy is a competitor, mate. He is hungry, he's determined, and he's unpredictable. You never quite know what's going to happen, so it makes for a really exciting heat. With Gabriel Medina, you figure you know what's going to happen. He has been the most dominant. I think it's fair to say, don't you think, Ron, that he's been the most dominant of the event so far. Medina's looked like he's known exactly what he's doing and what to do and when to do it. better than anyone else so far, but Kaio is a wild card, and he's got that history against him, and has that history against John. So he's got this reputation for being able to take down the very best in the business.
So 8.5 minutes remaining for Jack Freestone to bank a big number. Ricardo Christie not too far behind him in Heat 3. Seth Moniz and Kelly Slater yet to tap into their first waves. Let's hear from Yago Dore into the quarterfinals again here at the Billabong Pipe Masters.
Yago, what an impressive track record you have. Second year on tour, you're into the quarterfinals again. How does it feel to make it to the stage of competition?
Yeah, it feels amazing. I think Pipeline is probably my favorite wave on tour, and even before I was on tour, I always thought that, and I really love this place and love everything about this wave, and it's a place I feel comfortable. I spent a lot of time here in Hawaii since I started surfing, and it's kind of like a second home to me, and yeah, I feel good. I just wasn't too nervous out there. I just kept surfing, and things worked for me.
Well, we love these matchups. Your one against Italo in the quarterfinals. Your thoughts on that matchup?
Yeah, it's great. I have a bunch of matchups with Italo already, and most of them I came on top actually. But Italo, he's been the best surfer this year, so for sure. And I really hope he gets a title. But I want to win the heat.
We love it all, Yago. Thank you for your time. Good luck in the quarters.
Thank you, Rosie. Yeah, mouth-watering match up there between Yago and Italo.
Looking forward to those quarterfinals too. So if you imagine, John Florence and Gabriel Medina get through, that's going to be a quarterfinal. So, it's possible for his dreams to come through. Yago's. He could beat Italo, and then Italo, if Gabriel lost to John in the other quarterfinal, still win the world title. So his dream could come true.
It's going to take a lot to topple this man walking into shot right now, Gabriel Medina. Just past Kaio there, and you can feel the tension.
Icy vibes there, Gabriel. And you can see Kaio had a little chuckle to himself.
Oh, for sure. Kaio is so fired up for this heat. He wanted to run the other day. He's ready to go in any kind of conditions. But as you said, Medina so far been the most consistent performer through his 2 victories, top scored in the seeding round, put up solid numbers, another excellent heat in the round of 32 to earn his place here, chasing a 3rd world title.
And given the size of the conditions today, I expected to see a little more of a focus on the back door and a little more of those right-handers coming into scoring range. We haven't really seen that so much today. The direction of the swell has got the lefts firing. That sandbar isn't in the way, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Kaio look for a few of those backdoor nuggets that you can get that travel time and maybe find a little bit of an advantage over Gabriel, although we know he's the best Cooper footer at backdoor as well.
Medina, this is an important heat, of course. World title implications. He's looking focused, getting down the beach, flanked by security. It's going to be Gabe Medina. Let's see if he can overcome Kyle Belli. This is going to be the makeup run.
Oh, this is huge. Italo's in a pretty glorious position at the moment, but surfing in the first heat. Obviously in the round of 32, he had that advantage. Moving through the rounds now, and the seeding not an issue. He's going to be at the top of the draw each time we get each new round underway. So if he progresses, instant pressure applied to those below him on the Jeep leaderboard as we see Seth getting things started here in heat number 4.
And he's that one round, one place ahead of Gabriel. For Gabriel to get to the lead, he needs to finish that one round ahead of Italo. So Italo's got a couple of things on his side. He's leading the ratings and he's leading the rounds and going out first and setting the standard. And he did that well this morning. I suppose, is it fair to say we both felt like his performance this morning was Italo's, I'm talking about, as we see Kaio make his way down the beach there, wasn't the most convincing, was it?
I felt there was some nervous decisions made in that heat, and maybe against a more experienced pipe surfer, Italo might have found himself in second spot at the end of it all. But at the end of the day, he's got the win, and he's also got Shane Dorian in his corner. So I'm sure they'll reflect on the good and reflect on the bad as he moves into the quarterfinals. Medina just getting focused for a monster heat. Been in this position so many times before. Just an incredible run he's been on. Since he won that world title in 2014, he hasn't finished outside the top 3 And he's had years where he's been a long way back at the midway point, somehow still got himself into a shot, a mathematical shot at a world title this year, just one heat behind Italo coming into this final event.
And when he's in that mathematical shot, nobody handles that pressure and thrives on that situation more than he.
Must be a scary prospect for those other title contenders. Well, just Italo now, of course, Kolohe Andino, with Italo progressing through the quarters. His title chances are now done, but he's still got a lot to serve for. He wants to get his first championship tour win, and what better place to do it than Pipe? Nowhere.
And trying to finish up those rankings, get well inside that, you know, you feel like first, second and third you're in a world title chance. Fourth, fifth, sixth, you're a little off that pace, aren't you? Which he has been even in this race. It was a long shot. Giving himself that was a great year for Kolohe so far.
You can still jump ahead of Geordie and Felipe, though, with a big finish here at the Pipe Masters. So a lot to serve for Andino. 3 minutes remaining at the moment in heat number 3, the round of 16. Ricardo Christie holds a very, very narrow lead over the Australian Jack Freestone, who's after just a 2.57 to get himself into the first spot. Seth, a throwaway number for him, 0.37. Hands that priority over to Slater. Very dangerous. You know, this is a different kind of day. You know, you think about what we had, the waves we had for the round of 32, and Kelly just was on song, just looking incredible. And this is a wave of consequence. It's intimidating, and Slater's gone on the record and said that in the past. At first it intimidates you, then you find the balls to give it a try, and you figure it out, and you grow from the pride that comes with that, and then you get hungry for it. And over the years, he's proven to be one of the hungriest competitors in the draw here and in the free surfing session.